Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Yes, indeed. Hola, bon dia, Graham Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Now, the little fairies, pixies, whatever they are, have been in the studio tinkering with things, and that's what slowed me down a little bit this morning before I was able to join you. I've been logged out of many things, it would appear, and the volume levels are all over the place. So let me know that if this is sounding okay to you, but there are definitely some weird goings on here and levels and so on. Right. Let me just make a few adjustments as we go and wish you a very good morning. And hola, bon dia, alegria. How are you doing? Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream. Yes, the live stream, the podcast, and of course, the Portugal Club. Join us over there for the best possible treatment. www.gmpvip.com. Great to see so many people waiting. Sorry to keep you waiting there. Donna, I'll be sleeping when you start, but we'll watch when I wake up. Bon dia, todos. And thank you, Donna, for being the inspiration for my produce video. I went to my local market to see if I could beat the price you paid in Florida for 5 bananas and 5 peaches. I think you paid $8.42. I paid €4.44 over here. So I think the quality, I was saying the quality of the fruit, it was much sweeter than the UK. I don't know so much about Florida. I'm guessing your bananas were quite good value, but your peaches, I'm not sure. We have to do, I don't know if we're going to be able to do a direct taste test at some point. If you bring some of those with you when we see you here next time over here in Portugal. So lots of love to you, Donna. Thank you very much for being here this morning. Bob, ahead of this conversation this morning, then, the dream dashing potential of the citizenship changes here in Portugal. It will be an interesting and ongoing discussion, says Bob. I've got Clair McGonigle joining us, by the way, as well, in about 10 minutes. She wants to talk about using cash here in Portugal. One of those people that likes the idea of preserving cash and the cash system. Cash is king, rather than all these transactions done electronically and without human beings. I'm sure she's going to talk about supermarket checkouts as well. It'll be an interesting and ongoing discussion, says Bob, about citizenship, and I'm sure about cash as well. I was reading more about this this morning. Yes, and excellent coverage, as we might expect, in Portugal Decoded as well. I shall refer to that. So thank you very much to Portugal Decoded, who I would say, if you haven't already subscribed on Substack, it's a very good source of information, comprehensive, and very well written. That's Portugal Decoded, published every Friday. And I'll give the link to that as well so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about if you're not already subscribed over there. We're taking some information from that regarding the citizenship changes, nationality and immigration reform. New government proposals awaiting approval this month, June 2025. Interesting times here in Portugal for sure. So we will return to that after we've said hello to everybody. Bobby's here. Good morning to you, Bobby. How are you doing? Top of the morning to you, Bobby. How are you? And yes, my apologies then for starting late. I was talking to you in the comments before starting the show. Very nice. And you'll see on the screen there, your comments will show up now with a new little feature from StreamYard. My head might be turned by Riverside yet, but this is a nice little feature, and we're very used to being here together, are we not, on StreamYard? You Portugal Club members will have the studio code as well if you want to go to what I've just popped up on the Portugal Club, including some beautiful footage from Lisbon between 1962 and 1967 on 16mm film. It's an absolutely beautiful montage, little bits. No sound, a silent movie in color, in early color. Really nice to find that, along with the dollar and pound currency rates, the price of petrol, the price of fuel, which seems to have gone down considerably since we reported on it yesterday as well. Sunset's still going to be 21:05. Isn't that amazing? It's like holding its zenith point in the sky. Still sunset. The latest it will be 21:05, holding out for a couple of days yet before the days get a bit shorter. Sorry to say that. Yes, and the extreme weather warning in the 40s. It might touch 40. That's a bit sensationalist, as a lot of weather reporting is. Some say it will reach 40 this weekend. It's going to be a hot weekend, But also, I saw somebody had snow forecast in their part of Portugal as well. Strange times. I'm just warming up the studio here ahead of that heat wave. Yeah, we're here now, Bob, and thank you for your sound check. Sounds terrific here. More Schumann resonance and solar effects. Don't know about you, Bob, but I'm quite knackered at the moment. I've been doing a lot. Swimming in the sea yesterday, busy day with all the meetups and things that go on a Wednesday with the men's shed and testing out that off-grid system with Carl McAdam over here. So very busy. And I think this ongoing world conflict coverage, as I try to stay across it, it's exhausting as well. But you're saying there are some other metaphysical influences here as well, the Schumann resonance and solar effects as well. And it's the Portugal Decoded that you've been looking at on our subject du jour this morning around Portuguese citizenship. Before we get into that as well, let me get my banner going on the screen so that you're encouraged to let me know what you think. And of course, as I say, Portugal Club members who've got the studio key can jump on backstage and indicate to me that you want to come on the screen and talk about it as well. But yeah, let me know what you think in the first instance in the comments on the screen. And if I go over to my newsletter of this morning, this is the Munson's memo, the missive that goes out to everybody who's a member of the Portugal Club in the morning. Let me share with you something else of note around residency and citizenship. Are you seeing that? Yes, you are. Now, if I go to the images, excuse me a moment. Thank goodness for the cough button. Yeah, there's Claire. She's going to be talking to us about cash. Yeah, if you didn't see the rest of the global peace index, for one thing, you're going to need your glasses to see all the runners and riders there. But we did report on that earlier, did we not? Portugal holding 7th place there, thankfully. And that's why many people want to be here and cite that as one of the reasons. Safety, security here in Portugal, despite the possible shenanigans with the citizenship. The length of time, basically, for staying, being a resident here before you are allowed to get citizenship, plus more rigorous, a rigorous understanding of the language and culture is being called for as well. But there you go. There's the Global Peace Index, all the numbers and positions there. And yes, this coming as, what is it, good news? I'm guessing in a way it is, although preferably we wouldn't have this situation in the first place. But there you see, for the many foreigners holding expired or soon to be expired residency documents, June 30th has loomed large as the last day of a long-standing exception. The law dating from the pandemic, recognizing expired documents as valid will be extended until October the 15th. So it's gone from that June 30th extension to October the 15th. And I want to give the appropriate credit for that. That was from our other favorite news source during the week, which I can't find now in my email. Portugal Decoded is my one favorite. That's what Bob and I have been looking at. And this was, Portugal Weekly, of course. Portugal Weekly was where I did that screenshot from Jorge Branco as well. So I do recommend subscribing to both those Substacks, Portugal Weekly and Portugal Decoded. Very good reporting, very useful indeed. Coming back to Portugal Decoded in just a moment. And just to let you know, actually, as we look at the memo this morning for the 27th of June, this also took me a little longer than I would hope to write. The dollar taking a bit of a bashing at the moment. I'm going to give it what the euro will buy in terms of dollars rather than the other way round. A quote I saw yesterday reaching a 4-year high. The euro power, that is, breaching 116 yesterday after rumors of a ceasefire in the Middle East, leaving US investors in an expensive situation right now if purchasing in Portugal. But I think that will change as these things do, like the fuel price, which we've also been keeping an eye on. Today's average fuel prices in Portugal are approximately 170 per litre for unleaded 95, 95 gasolina, and 160 per litre for diesel, as searched on Google this morning. Significant drops, it seems, on yesterday. Open to fact-checking on all of these things. If you disagree, it is so hard, is it not, to find reliable information? And more so, it seems. AI is not helping with that, the great irony. And we are drawing to a close on our month of AI awareness. How's it treating you? What revelations have you become aware of? What things are you concerned about? What benefits are you seeing AI bringing to your life? Okay, let's have a little look then. I remember this is on the subject of Portuguese citizenship. Now, I first heard a rumbling via Messrs. Reis and Pelicano, Daniel Reis and Rodolfo Pelicano, who, of course, are the lawyers that we speak to. That I'm in communication with on a Thursday evening with Expats Portugal. And this first rumbling of the extension of the Portuguese citizenship from 5 years to 10 years, it's going to be 7, I believe, for CPLP members, those of the former Portuguese colonies. And I will give you some more specific information reading from my source this morning, Portugal Decoded. But that must have been about only a month or 6 weeks ago when that first came up during a call. A webinars, a Dream Team town hall event. And at that time, Daniel and Rodolfo were like, yeah, it's probably just sort of political posturing. No need to worry about it. And then lo and behold, it has gone to the parliamentary approval stage, it would appear. It's not law, but a council of ministers, if you like. And these are the stages, are they not, of Portuguese law, it would appear. The first stage is social media, where things like more rigorous. This is currently in the social media sphere. This particular idea change here in Portugal is not only with citizenship, but with residency as well. There'll be stricter language and culture requirements. That's definitely in the world of social media. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think it will apply to citizenship, and quite rightly so, in my view. Then it goes from social media to media, regular media, where I think the politicians might be briefing a little bit into the media to see how the land lies and to improve their position as they jockey for the #1 spot in popularity. So those are the first 2 stages when we tend to hear about things: social media and media, and of course they feed each other. Then it goes to the parliament and the politicians, and it's discussed and put forward as a proposal. And the final part, when it really makes a difference, obviously, is when it becomes decree law. And that's where this citizenship change is yet to go, as I understand it. Just going back for a moment to Bob's point here, what does expired document extension mean for traveling out of country? I think it means very little, Bob, actually. For example, I've heard of German passport control not having a great sense of humor at the best of times, possibly, but certainly when it comes to anyone arriving with Portuguese documents saying, well, they are extended in Portugal, at which point, presumably the German officials say, well, they've not been extended here. Your papers are out of order. So I don't think it makes a massive deal of difference elsewhere, but there's a greater level of understanding, of course, here in Portugal, where the problem has been caused in the first place, and it's still a hangover from the pandemic days, as you heard me read out just now. I think it's risky not coming back into Portugal. If you're arriving in the Schengen area, they won't all see it. They won't all understand in the same way that the Portuguese border officials might. So no, not much insight there. That's what I think might be happening, and you do well to take as much paperwork as you can in any of these situations should you find yourself in that sort of limbo, which is a word I'm hearing used more and more often, that sort of uncertainty around these things, which is not good. It's not helping people. It's quite exhausting, I think, and requires some change. Really, the changes that we're talking about this morning are not those changes. They're not the rapid deployment of AI to get through the massive hundreds of thousands of cases at IMA. We don't seem to be hearing much about that. We're hearing more about the front. Well, it's not the front end, is it? That is the front end at IMA. We're hearing more about the more blue sky stuff and aspirations for people who want to become Portuguese citizens. So let's take a look at that now. And I'll be looking at the aforementioned Portugal Decoded, then, which today's title for the Portugal Decoded memo is Friday Briefing, the Immigration Reform Decoded. So, I've got to give Claire the link. Okay. 1 minute, Claire. Let me just... I think I've confused her here, as well as myself and everybody else this morning. Let me just send the invitation over to Claire. and she'll be joining us. We'll take a brief break to talk about cash, and then we'll come back to what you're thinking about this citizenship matter. So on the top, then, this is how it's being put to us, or decoded by Portugal Decoded. And as well as Chega launching a parliamentary inquiry into the granting of residence and nationality by past left and centre-right governments. So they want an inquiry as well as changes to the law. This is how it's looking in Portugal Decoded's Decoder infographic, which I always find very helpful. Amendments to the nationality. Then nationality by residency. The minimum legal residence period required to obtain nationality is to increase to 7 years. This is a proposal, okay? It's funny, isn't it, how it gets referred to in these different tenses. So here it's talked about it is to increase to 7 years for citizens from Portuguese-speaking countries and 10 years for others. That's us, I'm guessing, the majority of us here. These periods will begin from the issuance date of the first residence permit. Additional requirements will include proof of knowledge of the Portuguese language. The A2. Do you know what A2 stands for in Portuguese? It stands for I can't speak Portuguese. The number of people I know who've been on the A2 course who still don't speak any Portuguese in public. Let's do something about that, shall we, in the coming weeks and months? Yes, the 30-day learning Portuguese boot camp is coming back with Maria, and we're glad to be hosting that at the Portugal Club. Actually, tell you more about that in the coming days. Yes, we've got proof of knowledge of the Portuguese language, political institution, rights and duties associated with the Portuguese nationality. So it's getting a bit like other countries where you're learning more about the system and the culture, and I think that's a good thing. National culture through tests. Criminal record requirements will also be stricter. Applications will no longer be accepted from individuals with criminal convictions for crimes punishable by imprisonment, regardless of the sentence. That's interesting as well, isn't it? You can understand that. And so there are some other parts, other proposed amendments, and I have to underline the fact this question here in the newsletter: is the government's migration overhaul final? No, in a word. The measures announced last week and approved by the Council of Ministers on Monday, June the 23rd. A lot of people thought this was all done and dusted last Monday, June 23rd, are still subject to parliamentary debate and approval. We shall return to that after we've had a nice little chat with Claire. Let's bring her onto the screen and apologise. I need to grovel now, everybody. Sorry, Claire.
Morning, Carl. It's okay.
Okay. Well, I've been telling everybody, haven't I, all our lovely guests like yourself, it's the same code every time, it's the same link, but today we're doing a live stream, so it's different. Sorry about that. Lovely
it's
to
okay.
see you. Goodbye.
I'm a technophobe, really, so I didn't know what was going on.
Well, we can hear you. We've got you on the screen, which is great. And you wanted to talk about the whole business of using cash here in Portugal.
Yeah, well,
bit reluctant to get into the all the digital stuff, and maybe even having a chip implanted in their wrist as a way of paying for things. You're not a fan, but
Maluka, it's crazy. It's crazy to do that.
Tell us more then. What do you think?
Why would you have an electronic device impregnated into your skin? It's just
some people already have done that. I think there are Swedes, are there not?
Sweden, yeah, that was a long time ago now. I've been watching this cashless agenda for a long time. So if we start with electronic payments, what happened when all your cash is digital? And Spain, Portugal, France, we were knocked off the power grid for like 12 hours. Remember that?
I do. Not many people do they? Because it's a dim and distant memory now, but you make a very good point. And it was quite profound what happened that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think people got together more. Electronic devices weren't working. I couldn't access the internet, so I just read a book. But it was lovely. It was quiet, peaceful, but there was dancing in the streets, and people were happy to get away from the matrix, shall we say?
So you definitely use the word agenda. You think there's an agenda around it? Is it to take us away from our beloved dirty old notes and filthy coins?
I love dirty cash.
Okay.
I love it. I used to be a beauty therapist, and I was paid in cash, and I didn't go over the threshold of what the taxman wanted. But if I had, I'm sure I could have squirreled away a little few pennies just for myself, because the taxman doesn't spend it on what the people need, really, does he? He just
Let me
takes it and
let me
uses
let me just
it
have
for
a think
whatever.
about that. Yeah, let me just think. Is tax used wisely? Well, sometimes not, it would appear, right? I don't really want to be buying missiles
No,
off
no,
some of these arms dealers, or having them bought on my behalf and used to kill other people in other countries. I'd like them to be.
don't start me on war. Oh,
I won't start
got a
you
lot
on
to
war.
say about war.
I
Dear
won't
me.
start, won't start you on that, Claire.
Don't, please. It's
You-
horrific.
and we do get a sense of this, don't we? I mean, even talking to a finance expert, Pedro
Mm,
Franco of EI the other night, when he was talking about, giving your NIF number and how often you should do that. The
I
phrase
never
"Big
do.
Brother" did come into the conversation, and he was saying
Tesco
there's only
club cards.
same thing, right? The loyalty cards,
Yeah,
they lure you
yeah.
in with discounts and so on. But again, it's a way of tracking spending and understanding behavior.
Wait till they link your digital currency with your medical report. Stop you buying cheese and wine because your cholesterol's high. You're on blood pressure pills.
Stop
Oh
it,
dear.
Claire. Stop
Dear,
it.
no, this is,
That is
I know
not going to
you think
happen.
it's far-fetched, but look at the
I
World
do.
Economic Forum Agenda 2030.
Yeah, but that's
You
only a
shall
think.
own nothing and be happy.
Come on.
Fancy that?
It's only a think tank, isn't it? It's just a few sort of nerds getting together wealthy ones. To be fair, they're getting in a room and they're thinking, how can we control things? It's just an
Why is
idea,
it
isn't
written
it?
down? Why is it written down in script? Why is it embedded in script on the internet? You can access it. Oh, don't start me with Bill Gates and seeds and fake
Oh,
meat,
I'm
and
not.
we'll go back to
Don't
cashless
worry.
money.
Don't worry. I
So
won't.
the climate, carbon footprints. Now you've heard that term.
Yes, I have. Well,
Okay.
we're heading towards. We've got like 5 years to get to net zero, haven't we? 2030. Is that right?
Who wants net zero? Who
I
wants
don't
that?
know. Greta Thunberg.
Oh God, don't. I can't. I just can't. So, holidays. So only
Yes.
the rich will be able to access holidays if we have a cashless-based society. Your carbon footprint will be everything you eat, which is linked to your digital spending, and everything you do, the petrol you put in your car, how far you travel. But if you've got
No.
cash, you can put. It's true. So
Right.
ULEZ, you've heard of ULEZ?
I have.
No.
Not talking about Les
Ultra
Dawson
low,
either, are we? No.
ultra low emission zone. Now, they're saying carbon is a bad thing, but why do food growers actually have a carbon machine to help plants grow?
Don't know. You're teaching me a lot of new things this morning. So yes, I do understand it. I do get
We
it that
need
there are a
carbon.
number of agendas that work here, and
There are
your
many.
resentment, and you're not alone in this, are you? The resentment around being
Mm.
constantly tracked, monitored, and where this might go. The next step of that, of course, is control, isn't it? But for our own good, though, right?
Yeah, it's for terrorism, yeah, and climate change.
Right. Okay.
Those are the words they use:
That's two birds with
terrorism and
one
climate
stone,
change.
Claire. I don't know what you're moaning about. That's two birds with one stone. We're going to be a lot safer and happier, aren't we? Even if we do own
Yeah,
nothing.
no, we're gonna be in planet prison planet, actually.
Okay.
We're I mean, freedom is something you shouldn't take for granted.
That's
Imagine that you can't go in a restaurant because you haven't had a vaccine. You don't have to
Hold
imagine
on a
it. It
minute. We had that.
happened.
We had that, didn't
It
we?
happened.
Yes. I had to sit outside while paedophiles were allowed in. I mean, I don't. what's
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
hold
mean,
on.
if,
Now you've got me started. Oh my god! Right, okay. That was a low blow, Claire. Imagine that. That's what happened 5 years ago, wasn't it? Okay, all right. You got.
it could happen again. So if you can put your cash that you
Yes,
earn that
yes.
is already taxed, and then you take it and you go to the petrol station, you put petrol, diesel in your car, not electronic, because they've got a kill switch. Oh my god, did you know every car produced in the EU has got a kill switch from 2025? That kill switch
But
means they can
come
switch
on,
your
that's for
engine off
safety
at any
reasons. That's for
time.
safety. That's for safety as well, isn't it? So that somebody watching you from a CCTV office can stop it, turn it
Well,
off.
you've got a tracker in your car as well. It's a computer,
Oh,
it's a chip. They
Right.
know where you are, when you are, and who you are. I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad
Hey,
I've
oh
got
my
a
goodness.
20-year-old car that hasn't got all this technology.
Well, do you know what? There might be a market in these old bangers, mightn't there? Have you heard of that Portuguese brand, the POB? I've got one. It's a Portuguese old banger, and this is
No.
the ideal.
Well, that's mine as well then.
This is the ideal vehicle then for
It
not
is.
being tracked or having a kill switch thrown on your vehicle. But we were talking about money, weren't we, in cash, and that you see
Yes.
that
But
as
that
a
all
gesture of
stems
freedom,
to that.
right? Okay, so
For
tell us more
Christmas
about that.
freedom, okay, so when we were little we had a piggy bank and we put our money in, and then we could take it out on a Saturday, go
Yeah,
to WH Smith's or Woolies and buy whatever we wanted. And
yes.
car boot sales, can you imagine going to a car boot sale and they've all got digital, like, scan and chip pins?
Doesn't seem entirely in line with the ethic of the car boot sale, does it?
No, when you think every time you spend £50, £50 goes to your local butcher. He spends it in his local grocer.
Or
But
pub.
if you're spending pub, yeah, if you're spending digital currency, the companies are taking away 1.5% or 3% every time. So every time that money, £50, gets moved and moved and moved, it goes to nothing. But with cash, it's still the same amount
You make
at
a
the
very
end
good
of
point.
everyone's spending.
You make a very good point. The commissions and
Mhm.
fees on digital spending are eye-watering. Now you could argue, couldn't you, that actually moving cash and coins around is much more expensive process than moving non-existent digits around. It shouldn't cost much, should it? The amount of money they make, like for example, my €9 or $10 subscription to Good Morning Portugal, a
Yes,
really eye-watering big part of that gets taken away straight away just because there are companies who handle the transaction. It's really greedy.
exactly. And all
Unfair.
it is a few little taps on the keyboard. Wait till they lock you out of your account and say you've spent too much on your carbon footprint, and you're not allowed to access your money this month.
Right. Well, people may remember this crazy sounding woman on the 27th of June 2025, and when this is first put forward as an idea, it's like, I think she said this back in the
But
summer of 25.
it's happening in China. So there is a social credit system in China, and there was
Yeah,
a journalist. Sorry, his name eludes me. I
yeah.
should have been more prepared. And he
We all.
criticized the Chinese government. You know what happened to him? His bank account was frozen. He couldn't access trains. He couldn't get to work.
But
His
we
life
don't have
was ruined.
that. Never happens in the West, right? I mean, if you live
Oh,
in the
yes, it
UK,
did. It happened. It happened in Canada. When the truckers were protesting Trudeau, he stopped all our bank accounts. People were doing GoFundMe's, and the people who were doing GoFundMe's, he stopped their bank accounts. So governments with cash, they can't do anything. But with digital currency, they can cut you off if you're protesting about what they're doing, which is totally wrong that they're doing.
very interesting points you're making this morning. And I was of course joking about the UK, which actually speaking out in the UK would appear. I don't know this firsthand. Anybody who this has happened to, but you do see
Okay.
reports, do you not, of people being imprisoned for things they've said online. And it may be that the things they've said online are grievous and very offensive, but
Yes,
then it's relative, isn't it, compared to other people who've
and
done other things
inflammatory.
who don't get those sorts of
Exactly.
sentences. So I think you're making good points that are very worthy of discussion and our attention. On this matter then of I've got a feeling Portuguese people do love their cash.
They
Um,
do.
and
They
and
absolutely do.
when you see the look on a Portuguese person's face when the retailer is obliged to ask them for their NIF number, it's like, now no, obrigado. And they know that the person it's their job to ask. And
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't want to give, especially older folks, the old geezers who've just gone in there for a pack of beer. They're not going to be giving their details so that their
And that's good.
beer supply could be stopped one day. Your
Yes,
experience of spending cash in Portugal it's the way to go here, is it? You don't experience any problems yet? Because
absolutely.
people who I hear who go to London, they never got their cash out once. It's all digital, isn't it, in some countries now?
there's signs outside we do not accept cash, but then there's other businesses who are onto the agenda, and they say cash only. Love it. You know, the businessman gets to keep all the money, and he will tell the taxman how much he earns.
Of course,
probably.
Of course, that goes without saying.
But it goes around and it goes to other people, and it's not diluted by the chip and pin set.
Yeah.
And I saw in New York, there is a store where you actually have to pay to get in digitally. To get in. There's barriers on stores. Imagine when you're a dissident, you're a revolutionary, and you can't stand the government, which
that's everybody. That's everybody.
And you walk into a shop and you can't get access because your digital currency won't allow you. You are blacklisted, and you can't buy food. You can't access petrol to get anywhere. Once you're locked out of society, this is what's coming.
And that's your worst fear around this, and that's why you're taking a stand and being a guardian of.
I've got cash in my pocket.
All right. Well, don't tell everyone. Okay. All right. Well, but we know it for a drink tonight. It's Friday. TGIF says Matty. So we might be over there to share some of your cash with you. A couple of beers at the local cafe.
Look what I've got today, Carl. Where I am today.
Check you out. Okay. Are you not there every day? What's going on?
No, this isn't my house. I wish. My dream.
Very nice.
It's actually for sale, this house, if anyone wants to buy a beautiful house with a swimming pool.
Yes.
It's up in I won't tell you where I am, but until I'm gone.
Central.
They can't find me. If I won't tell them where I'm gone. Yeah, central Portugal. Okay. And it's beautiful today. Gorgeous.
Right now,
I'll be in that pool later.
Oh, stop it! You like with all your it's like a rap video surrounded with cash, cocktails, and cool water in this hot weather here in Portugal. Now, yes, let's conclude on a cheerful note here. I do understand the points you're making, and you know this sort of logic is quite clear to see, isn't it? And things that you thought could never happen did, and you know they are being talked about, and so it is good, I think, to be vigilant, and it's great there are people around like you who are you know encouraging that sort of vigilance and pushing back.
I'm against the agenda.
Yes, clearly, and I think shout out to Portugal, because this is a country that in some ways is highly technologically advanced, you know, with the NIF number. The Finanças is one of the best, the most efficient departments in the country. And as well as all of that technology, there is a great sense of tradition. People are still growing their own food. People are still using cash. People are still using barter, aren't they? And old systems. So if we do want to maintain and preserve that older way of life, it is still alive and well in many parts of Portugal, isn't it? Especially the rural parts.
Absolutely. It is,
yeah. And that's your experience.
When with digital currency, can you walk down the road and buy wine off your neighbour? You can't. If you've got cash, he'll sell you his wine. There's no tax, there's no VAT. There's just local people living their peaceful lives.
Isn't that beautiful?
How dare the government try and take that off?
Well, you make a very good point. And yes, all these efforts to do so, I think, are meeting with stiffer and stiffer resistance, Claire, as do you think they might?
So.
Or
I
should?
really hope so.
Okay, final points then. Bob's had to go. Maybe he got too depressed by our conversation. Claire is on point, though, in my opinion.
Yay!
And coming over from the Netherlands, where I almost never had hard cash. Is that hard cash in your wallet, or are you just pleased to see me, Matty? Now in Portugal, I seem to always have some cash on me. Well done. Keeping up that tradition of cash there. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? That we might not have it in our pockets one day. So it's nice to have a little bit of all those
scary things we want.
Yeah, stuff rattling around, making holes in our pocket. Bon dia, everyone, from Mike as well. Good to see you, Mike and Karen. Lovely to see you. Here we are, live streaming this morning, just like the old days. And Coach Turner, bon dia, todos e feliz sexta. Sorry for the late arrival because of reasons. Yes, all of us this morning. Have a lovely weekend, everyone, a bon fin semana, and living in central Portugal. Cash is still king. Hooray!
Absolutely.
Very good. And bon dia goes from Jackie as well. Where you all been? Lovely to see you, by the way. So cheers, Claire, for that. Always great fun talking to you.
Thank you, Carl. Always good to chat.
You're having good fun, clearly, in central Portugal. And long may that continue.
Thank you. Bon fin semana to you.
All right. Cheers, Claire. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. There she goes. Right. Ray of sunshine. Claire McGonigle there. Having fun in central Portugal. The pool did look nice. And I'm thinking, as I said before, hot weather warning for this weekend. She'll be in there. But also, this is bizarre. I saw somebody on my social media, and I did, of course, say the stages of truth, if you like. This was from social media, the cesspit, you might say, when it comes to trying to find any. Oh, look, here I am again. I've had to look. Mrs. M must have restarted or killed all the cookies. She's worried about being tracked as well, I suspect, here in the same way that Claire was talking about. I've just clicked a button to say I'm not a robot as I go into the world of Meta. There's an irony there, is there not? And now I'm being asked to approve. I mean, this is nightmarish, isn't it? It really is already. I mean, no, it's a nightmare scenario that Claire's talking about. But here I am trying to get into my own stuff, waiting for, what do they call this? Two-factor. Go two-factor yourself notification here. It's buzzing. Something's going on. Many notifications, none of which are my code to get into my Facebook, which I'm trying to do. No, it's not me. You see, the funny thing is, I've got my phone in front of me now. Carl, is this you trying to log in? Now, I'm sure any self-respecting criminal who had my phone would say, oh, no, it's not Carl. I'm a criminal, so I better not press the button that says, yes, it's me, which I'm doing now. Okay, allow this login. Yes, allow. How many more steps do another button do I have to press to get into my own flipping stuff here? But anyway, I'm trying to find the thing that I saw that said there might be snow in Portugal this weekend. Would you believe it? So I'm not going to give the game away of who it was, but I'm just going to go to their timeline now and see that yesterday, they say, this is very odd, just came up on my telephone, moderate snow and ice warning in Coimbra. Can you believe? So a little band, looks like a pair of underpants on Portugal, with Águeda to the north, Pombal to the south, and the Serra da Estrela mountain ranges, as you would expect, over to the east, Cantanhede to the west, and a moderate snow and ice warning. So even though some people might be sweltering in Castelo Branco this weekend, getting up to 40. The highest recorded temperature, incidentally, in Portugal is 43, I think, recorded in 2003. There is also a snow and ice warning as well. Remember, you heard it first on social media and the Good Morning Portugal show. Right, let's go to, back to, I should say, this whole citizenship issue. Is it a problem for you? I mean, on the most prosaic level, I'm hearing of people in our community like, 10 years, I ain't even going to live that long. It doesn't bother me. So I still, before we go to that, I still remove all the coins at the end of the day and put them in a big bottle for safekeeping. Well done. I bet you're really popular at the bar when you turn up for a couple of cervejas with a handful of 1 centimo pieces there, Matty. They actually probably don't mind. And if you're looking for a hack around that, some Millennium BCP banks have a coin sorter where you could take that bottle with you, Matty, pour it into the machine, and then it will sort it for you and give you a credit on your account, which is pretty good. But then again, Claire, it's tracked. that day you went in with all those coins. And it threw me because I took in a big plastic bag. Then it said, how much is here? I'm like, I don't know. I've brought it in. I'm not going to sit at home and count it if the machine's going to count it. So I just made a number up. And it just tells you, oh, yeah, this is actually how much it is. So, don't get fazed by that. If it asks you how much it is and you haven't got the foggiest, then you can just make up a number and it will do the counting anyway. Right, back to Portugal Decoded then. So we got to, did we not, amendments to the nationality law, which were to increase the minimum legal residence period to obtain nationality to 7 years for citizens from the CPLP and 10 years for others. presumably most of us here who might be interested in citizenship. Honestly, I'm not that bothered. I saw a social media post, another one. I think this was genuine. People who've been in Portugal for 30 years, over 30 years, quite happy with permanent residency. Now, let's hope that that doesn't get undermined or threatened. But if that easygoing relationship, for example, between such as it has been for 500 years and more, between the Portuguese and the British maintains, then it shouldn't be a problem to have your post-Brexit rights and stay just a permanent resident. Some people truly aren't bothered about citizenship, and it's a concern for Americans. Should they become Portuguese citizens and look forward to doing so, that does change their tax status should they become a Portuguese citizen as well as an American citizen. And we know the American government will never let you go as the land of the free and the brave. They're going to make sure you're free and brave and ask for your tax for the rest of your life. But if you become a Portuguese citizen as an American citizen as well, that may change your taxation status and how much you're taxed on your pension. So you might want to thank me later about making that point, which was put to me by a dear American friend here. So those periods, the 7 and 10 years, will begin from the issuance date of the first residence permit. That's the proposed amendment to the nationality law. Additional requirements will include proof of knowledge of the Portuguese language. All well and good, I say. However, I do have my reservations about whether the A2 is the best instrument. How many A2 holders do you know who never speak Portuguese in a public place? If we want to encourage people to speak Portuguese and know about political, culture, or history of Portugal, can we not do that in a way that actually works, if you like, so people enjoy learning about the culture and the history of Portugal because it's rich, it's fantastic, it's fun and interesting to learn about, and learn Portuguese in a way that encourages the speaking of the language rather than some sort of, what is it, like an endurance test over many weeks and months, twice a week, in a school environment that strikes terror into people, where they come out not speaking any of the language at all. Anyway, enough of my banging on about the A2, but I think there are probably better ways of learning the language and culture than that. Criminal record requirements will also be stricter. Applications will no longer be accepted from individuals with criminal convictions for crimes punishable by imprisonment, regardless of the sentence, as you might hope. Nationality by origin. This is an interesting one. Not so much talk about this in the press. Portuguese nationality at birth for children of foreign nationals, that would be me, will be granted only if at least one parent has 3 years of legal residence in Portugal and the parents make an express request for the child to receive nationality. Nationality by ancestry will be extended from second degree ascendants, whatever they are, that's up to grandchildren in everyday speak, to include third generation descendants, allowing great grandchildren to apply. There you go. The regime for Sephardic Jews, the current regime, will be terminated. Loss of nationality, a mechanism will be introduced for the loss of nationality applicable only to recently naturalized citizens in the past 10 years. That is, loss of nationality will operate as an accessory penalty decided by a judicial ruling based on a case-by-case evaluation of the crime's severity. Now, I expect for hardened criminals, that's not going to strike terror into their hearts and souls, because it's not as if part of this is a turbocharging of the legal system whereby hearings will be heard a little quicker than many years, as it seems to be the case at the moment. Maybe it'll be an exception with this particular kind of hearing. Who knows? It will apply only to crimes that carry a sentence of 5 years or more of imprisonment and will not apply to those holding original nationality. So that's the loss of nationality part of the amendments to the nationality law. There are amendments to the immigration laws as well. Job seekers visa. This visa will now be restricted to highly qualified professionals rather than anyone with technical qualifications and eligible professions to be defined by future ordinance. Family reunification visas. This might be one of interest to our community. The visa will require a minimum of 2 years of legal residence in Portugal. Many people have been waiting that long. In-country applications are allowed only for minors. Other family members must apply via consular channels. Proof of adequate housing, financial means, it's getting like the D7, isn't it? Excluding public assistance, and integration efforts such as language learning and school attendance. The possibility, that is a stricter move, isn't it? The possibility of refusal based on public order, health, or security reasons. These changes will not apply to golden visa, ARI, applicants or to future highly qualified professionals. The extension then that you heard about before that I shared with you, residence permits valid until 30th of June 25 will be automatically extended until the 15th of October 25. From the 1st of July 2025, renewal requests can be submitted to IMA through a new contact platform. There you go. I think that's already been tested. The contact platform, I think some version of that has been available for a few weeks now. Applicants who pay the renewal fee will receive a temporary 6-month certificate confirming their legal status until the new card is issued. That might help in the Schengen, as you were asking earlier on, Bob. Finally, then, there's lots more, but I can't go into all of it right now. There's an important point that needs to be made before I do go, however. Portuguese-speaking countries, the CPLP, probably not many people in our community to be fair, but CPLP residence applicants will now be required to obtain a prior consular visa and undergo a security screening, putting an end to the use of tourist visas or visa exemptions for residence applications. All in all, these are big changes for Portugal and its immigration and citizenship policies. National Unit for Foreigners and Borders, UNEF, a new police unit will be established within the PSP, the Public Security Police, and will assume exclusive responsibility for border control, in-country inspections related to foreign nationals, and the execution of deportation and removal orders. There's something in the air around the world, is there not, friends? So is the government's migration overhaul final? This is important. No, say Portugal Decoded. The measures announced last week and approved by the Council of Ministers on Monday, June 23rd, are still subject to parliamentary debate and approval. Since the ruling AD coalition lacks an absolute majority in Parliament, and this is those who fear Schäger are seeing their influence in this instance. Since the ruling AD coalition lacks an absolute majority in Parliament, it will need support from either left-wing or far-right parties. It's interesting, isn't it? You could never get a left-wing party referred to as a far-left party at the moment, do you? But we can go with support from either left-wing or right-wing parties, or we can say, as written here, left-wing or far-right parties to pass these measures, meaning they will likely be amended before taking effect. However, their effects will be retroactive to June 19th, aiming to curb the surge in applications submitted following the legislative elections. The government submitted the draft laws to Parliament on Wednesday, a couple of days ago. That's the same day that the request of the far-right Schäger Party Parliament, I'm reading what's written here, held a debate on the nationality and immigration laws, also known as the Foreigners' Law. Excuse me. This was the first urgent debate of the new legislative term and the first item on Wednesday's plenary agenda. The government's proposals will only be debated next week, but the positions of the various parties were already made clear during Wednesday's debate. The right wants stricter immigration controls, while the left criticizes the measures as discriminatory. There you go. Thank you very much, Portugal Decoded, for your calm and clear reporting on this matter. I suggest you subscribe to Portugal Decoded. Do that at portugaldecoded.substack.com, which I will put into the chat now, so that you're up to speed on that with some. So you don't have to go to social media or the media. You can go to a reputable blog, in my view, on Substack there. Good morning to you, Anna. Mondialegre from Stockholm. Nice to see you. It's raining over there by the look of it. How are your midsummer celebrations? They are legendary around the world, are they not? Peda, yes, we got you in a bit of a tiz last night, didn't we, Peda? And thank you for your message this morning. Interesting times, right? Thinking of applying for a visa? Contact Raquel before you start. She's the visa expert and fantastic, beautiful inside and out. Is our Raquel. That's Raquel Lighthouse Consulting. Thank you for that shout out for Raquel there, Jackie. And thank you to Raquel for introducing me to her mentor, Margaret, who will be on the show at some point soon as well. I think that's just about it for this morning as we come up to 9 o'clock. Oh, there was one other thing. There is a petition about the proposed changes. Now, it's possible that this petition will be blown out of the water, as it were, metaphorically, parliamentarily speaking. But what I saw was a petition challenging the new rules for Portuguese nationality. Okay, now that's a link to the reporting in the papers. Oh, okay, yes, I've got the link now. This is a petition hoping for a request to review all, well, not all of what I've said, but that part that refers to the 5 years going to 10. And I don't know if this is going to stand, because the law might supersede this before it even gets a chance of being spoken about. But should you wish to take a look at it, it is the petition here, that the link for which I have just put into the chat. Participation Parlamento.pt, the initiatives /5005. If you want to take the government to task on that, as I think a few foreigners already are. And it was, when I took a look at it, it was quite a popular petition. Right, okay. Have a great day, a bon fin de semana, and we'll see you again one way or another with some probably not live streaming action on Monday, but our usual range of fascinating, interesting guests with wonderful things to say about Portugal, things you weren't expecting often, as has been the case recently. For example, there's a great interview going up tomorrow, Saturday, that I had a lovely conversation with Joy Goldman about from Setúbal, the aging, actually it's the Aging and Dying Well group in Setúbal, and their fabulous new website, Vamos Bem, which I urge you to take a look at, vamosbem.pt. Find out more about that in my conversation with her. And another video that's up. Look at this. Looks like the worst dogging meeting ever. What are these blokes doing on the quay in San Martino de Porto? We made tea and toast that evening. That's the evening after the first demo on the green, on the monkey green at San Martino de Porto, the origins of which I'll tell you one day when we walk around and I give you my historical tour of San Martino de Porto. But there we were in the evening. The guy third from the left is the originator of this battery and inverter system, which was capable of, as he demonstrated. Now, people thought it was parked up over a PowerPoint and it was some sort of magical sleight of hand. But I can assure you that sack truck there has a 5 kilowatt battery on it, an inverter on top, and it was enough juice in there to power up a toaster, as you can see there, a kettle, as you can see there, and a hairdryer. Not that many blokes, if you take a look at that photo, not many blokes in that picture need a hairdryer, to be fair, myself included. And the guy on the right, Alex, brought his own tea bag and cup of, and tea, a tea mug, and we made tea and we had Marmite on toast by the quay, all powered by an off-grid battery, which pretty much you can buy for under £1,000 now and power up yourself. For those people who like the cash conversation earlier on, you might like the battery inverter combo off-grid too. All right, have a great weekend. All the best to you. Thank you to Claire and everyone else who's taken part this morning, and we'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need